Bengals go through and make some firings on the coaching staff. We'll talk about this coming up next on the Wincinnati podcast.
It's an exciting time to be a Bengals fan.
Welcome to the Wincinnati podcast. I'm Ace, he's Zim. It's Monday. Unfortunately, our Bengals are no longer in the playoffs, but we have a lot to talk about because there have been several firings that have happened, starting with Lou Anarumo, Frank Pollack, Marion. It's been a lot of movement, but before we get into that, partner, how you doing?
Doing good. I'm stuck in a snowstorm, trapped out here, can't go nowhere, just cooking food and doing what I guess us northerners do. Is that what people call it? So I'm just out there up north, me and my city slicker friends up top, just cooking and chilling, getting that apple cider right and everything like that. I've been out there throwing the football with Ooze in the snowstorm, so we're back inside and we're ready to talk some ball.
It's good to hear that y'all are good, man. I know the snowstorm, hopefully everybody up there stay safe. Glad to see that y'all are good. You and Uzi getting able to spend that quality time. Hope you guys are back on the road soon and get that situation settled up. So anybody affected by the storm, we're praying for you. Hope that everything is good there. I'm glad that Zimmy is safe. But you know who's not safe? Lou Anarumo. Lou Anarumo got fired today. Kind of felt like this one was going to happen, especially given how the Bengals defense played. A lot of people that have kind of talked about it today, and we kind of heard, like, not as much as, Joe Burrow being blunt with what's going on, but a lot of people on the defense, if you paid attention, kind of said, hey, like, let's dumb it down. Let's not just play this system. Let's make it simpler for the players so that we're able to actually play the way that they want to. And that just seemed to be the case. It seemed today. Now, I know it's a lot of coach speak. I don't know. Like, a lot of people are saying this is what Zach wanted. Is it? I don't know, because I felt like when I listened to his press conference earlier, there was a lot of dodging of, and maybe that's just because he's cool with them, but there was kind of a lot of dodging, in my opinion, on like why exactly the move was made and like when did you think that this move was going to be made. And it was a lot of, no, we just decided today and we're just going in another direction, and that's fine. Right? Those guys have history. They came up in the league together. So obviously you don't want to throw one of these guys under the bus, which, to be honest with you, I feel like with Lou, I don't think you could really throw him under the bus because there's already reports of, new coaches that are going to put him on the staff. I just would have liked some more transparency, like on a lot more, but at this moment, you're probably going to get what you're going to get. He didn't really get into whether they're going to change schemes. He didn't really like touch any of that. He was just like, this is where we're at. We're making these decisions. It was my decision. They asked him if it was upper management's decision and all of that. He basically was like, no, this is my decision. This is how I kind of felt. What are your thoughts to him, Cannon Lou, Cannon Frank Pollack, Cannon Marion Hobby? The Marion Hobby one was, I'm not going to lie, I was a little surprised by that one. Like, I get it, but I don't get it at the same time.
The Lou one, I just think that it's time. It was time. A lot of times we get to these crossroads. I feel like we're at the crossroads with Zach Taylor, in my opinion, but he's still here. But I really feel like you get to the crossroads with certain people or whatever dealing with our favorite team. And there's been moments where we're like, bro, it's just time. We need change. And I feel like this was the time. Lou Anarumo is going to make somebody very, very happy. I tweeted that out as soon as this was over. Like, if you give Lou the horses, it's a complicated system. But if you give him the horses to succeed, Lou Anarumo is going to cook. He's going to go crazy. He had the formula. We've seen him at the highest level perform against the highest of the highest, going head to head with Andy Reid. So you can't say that Lou is whatever. Like, I'm very thankful for Lou. It's just moving forward. These young dudes, the draft picks that they kept the 11 picks. All them guys on defense. You look at the 2023 draft. You got Dax Hill, DJ Turner. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm all CTB and all these guys like that. All this young influx of talent, and then you put that McKinley Jackson, all these different guys like that. Chris Jenkins up front. These are big rotational pieces where there's going to be some learning curve to some of this stuff. You know what I mean? Whoever the new guy is. But these young dudes, they got to play, and they got to play right now because the Bengals can't afford to take the time to condition or get guys ready later on. They're not the free agency. We're going to sign low-level free agents or whatever. That can only work a little bit. Like, you can't really use that to make that the end to be all for what you're doing in free agency. And the Bengals know they about to go pay Jamar Chase, hopefully T. Higgins, hopefully something with Trey Hendrickson, right? So you don't even have enough money to go and do this guy, Milton Williams. You can't do that. The young guy's gonna have to play. I think it's sad to say this, but I think it's true. If Lou hadn't been so caught on, I need to play my guys that I know have been to those places that I just named, 2021 down 21-3. If I didn't have to play those guys, and I would have let go of Sam Hubbard a little bit earlier, or backed off and took his snaps away earlier. If I would have did this with the younger guys, I think it's safe to say, or at least I'm gonna say, that I think he'd still have his job today. I think he would have won one or two more games at least in that stretch with Ravens, Steelers, Chargers. That was like the end right in there. And that Steelers game was the one that pretty much got him the axe, honestly. Giving up 400-something yards to Russell Wilson, 270 yards at Yak. Having him outperform Joe Burrow 400 yards. Joe Burrow threw for like 3-something. That was the one where it was like, Lou, you made it a point to say, I like guys that are in my system. Well, we got to make it a point to say that you got to live and die with guys in your system.
Yeah, I think, looking at it, I'm actually looking at where this defense kind of ended the season. And for the most part, it's like overall 25th. And you talk about some of the scoring, you talk about some of the yardage. They were actually pretty decent against the run, 19th. Against the pass, they were 21st. They kind of, like, coming into the season, we expected them to be a top 20 defense, right? They ended up being 25th, so that wasn't up to standard. I think the issue was there were just too many games where, and I don't know what the analytics say. I would love to hear someone that records this, but explosive plays allowed, like in the NFL in terms of percentage, that just did this defense in this season. It never seemed like at certain points where even when they had some good games that they were able to stop a lot of these explosive plays from happening. That was an issue that carried on from last season. And as we saw more of those staples of the defense, DJ Reader, Jesse Bates, some of these guys leaving, it kind of started to expose the holes in the defense. And I know someone, I think it was Max Murphy, was talking earlier. He was saying that a lot of it was teams started to catch on to what his scheme was, and he was kind of stubborn and keeping the same kind of thing. Apparently, Lou wanted to have like a 3-4. Bengals didn't want to switch to the 3-4 because they like to have their edge rushers sizable in terms of like 270, 280. So he tried to do the 52 thing that we've seen, and that was kind of the result. He stuck to what it was, and he never really kind of evolved, and he wasn't flexible. And when you're in any kind of day-to-day anything, if you're not flexible, like, you end up being blockbuster, right? Like, if we're in a Netflix era and you're still trying to be blockbuster, those are things that can happen. And it seems like that's what kind of happened here. And when it comes down to it, like, the NFL has talented players, but at the end of the day, the coaches that end up doing best, in my opinion, are the ones that marry their system with their players and their talent, not someone who's going to say, this is my scheme, Miles Murphy, you just playing it, and I'm just going to hope that you get the same results that someone else is going to get, even though they're completely different players. It doesn't work like that. And it seemed like as soon as he did what people wanted him to do, playing the younger players like Zim mentioned, the defense started to have more success. But the defense, from several standpoints, Zim talked about all of that that draft capital that they've used and cap space and bringing in these players, and to finish 25th and to really not see any payoff from any of these young players coming in, doing anything, making an impact. Like, what's the growth between Miles Murphy this year and last year? I don't know. What's the growth between Dax Hill in 3 years? I don't know. We think he might be an outside corner, but we still don't know because he got hurt and he played 3 different positions. What do we have in Jordan Battle? We didn't know until this season because guess what? He had Von Bell playing over him. And guess what? In Miles Murphy's situation, he had Sam Hubbard playing over him. We still don't know what we have out of some of these guys, and we still haven't gotten the return on the investment that we're expecting. Whereas, yes, Lou did a lot of great things for this franchise. I think most notably, most people will remember him for what he did to Pat Mahomes. But outside of that, when I look at him as a collective defensive coordinator, although I think that he may go down in the Bengals history books, like if I'm comparing him, because we've been fans for a long time, to Mike Zimmer, it's not close for me, bro. Mike Zimmer had top 10 defenses, top 5 defenses. When Mike Zimmer first showed up with guys that were not notable players and guys that were written off elsewhere, like Terrence Newman, Roy Williams, he brought them into the system and he had them playing at a high level. Look at that first Bengals defense when he first got here. They finished top 10. And the biggest notable name was like Keith Rivers, bro. Like he didn't have a bunch of guys. And so I think Lou's system worked well, but he didn't really make the players around that were not as good kind of rise to that level.
I don't know. Hold on real quick. Let me just he woke Mike Hilton's career back up.
Mike Hilton was already a dog though.
Okay. He woke his career back up. He had Eli Apple playing good enough, giving up that many yards, like to when we compare to a lot of different people. And then one thing that happened that we don't know because of the history of the Bengals and the injuries to the quarterbacks and stuff like that, Lou did what Dragon Slayers do at the biggest moments in the history of football. Even if you look at the Super Bowl, like the Rams did nothing in that game. Like running wise, they averaged 2.8 yards a carry on the run. His system with allowing teams and giving up the run and allowing DJ Reader to like just hold up Ford up front and then Jesse Bates on the back end in the communication that they did to get to the spot that they were at. I don't know, bro. Like in its totality, I think Zimmer and them guys like that, I think they have more talent for the most part. There's an argument there because in 2022, that was a super talented defense. But and I thought Lou looked good. You know, like that team didn't give up much. They went the whole 11, 12 weeks without giving up a first half touchdown and all, you know what I'm saying?
Second half, yeah.
Second half. So like Lou was going crazy. He had his moments on that 10-game win streak, and then when you factor in the playoffs, I think what they both do is totally different. And I think Zimmer more so installed like a whole culture of we don't take shit. And I ain't saying Lou didn't do that, but I do think Zimmer had. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good comment because Leon Hall and come on, bro.
The difference is
he had some players, bro.
The difference is Lou doesn't budge for his system. He throws whoever in his system, whereas Mike Zimmer played to the strength. So like Roy Williams, I know Roy Williams ain't good in coverage, so I'm not gonna have Roy Williams in on third down, like regardless. So I think that was the difference between them. I think so. You bring up the Super Bowl. That's a good point, right? Why didn't he change his game plan to double Cooper Kupp? That was the thing that I couldn't understand. Like, Cooper Kupp is killing you. You're so involved and so dedicated to your game plan going into the Super Bowl. You didn't make the adjustment in game. Once OBJ was gone, if OBJ is there, cool. Stick with your original game plan. But if Cooper Kupp is killing you, switch it up, bro. Like, you gotta switch it up. And I think that's what Lou's downfall was, is I'm gonna stick with my game plan, and my game plan is gonna win me this game regardless of who's playing, regardless of what it is. I'm gonna stick to it. And I feel like Like somebody just said, yes, he did. I do give you credit. He did make Eli Apple a much better player. I completely agree with that. He played at a completely higher level. But why was he on Cooper Kupp? Like that's some of the stuff from Lou that I would look on. And I'm not trying to be ungrateful for Lou because I appreciate what he did. But that was the only thing I think with Lou was he was kind of like, this is my way, and we're gonna do it my. What did the dude say? Frank Sinatra, I did it my way. Don't Lou be playing that? I did it my way.
It's a good conversation because we got to look at the talent too. That's another thing. As you were saying, I was like, Perfect, Pac-Man. Like,
no. So, see, you're talking about prime Zimmer. I'm talking about when Zimmer first showed
when
up.
He first got there.
For the Bengals defense, they had.
What about Lou's? What he's done to Pat Mahomes?
What he's done to Pat Mahomes is fire for sure. But the one thing I will say is.
It's fire.
Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs have been in how many one-score games? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not taking it away from Lou, but like, there's other teams that have been in one-score games with Pat too. I think Lou confused him the most and had him look silly.
Lou was the only one that had him looking silly. He's the only one. It's Lou Dini. But like, all right, we spent a lot of time on the defensive coordinator side of our. Let's go to Marion Hobby. Were you surprised? At the Marion Hobby in the Bettcher, the linebacker coach, them being fired? I guess it goes hand in hand with Lou, right? But were you surprised with that move?
I actually was in terms of Marion Hobby, right? Because Marion Hobby came here, I believe the first season had a 40-sack season. And like, unless it's the only way that I'm not shocked, and I tweeted this out, is if they're judging him by the development of the guys in that room. You had the Zach Carter that didn't work out, Miles Murphy. He may have stood on the table for Miles Murphy and it's not working out. He may have stood on the table for a Sheldon Rankins. I don't know. I'm just speaking. I'm just guessing. Those are the only things that I could say are like, okay, this is why this guy is out of here. Because when I look at the room, I don't know what he's supposed to get out of there. I'm going to be honest with you. Like when I look at the defensive line room, it's Trey Hendrickson, and then it's a lot of questionable guys in there. There's some potential in there, and maybe the issue is he couldn't get the potential out of them. But I'm just like, bro, you didn't give him back Larry Ogunjobi. When he first got there, like some of the guys that he had, Larry O, DJ Reed, or Trey Hendrickson, of course he's able to get results with that. But when you take that from him, and BJ Hill as well, when you take that from him and then you kind of just put it on him, that's the only way I can see it, bro, is, hey, we took away these players. You're still supposed to give us something. And even though Trey Hendrickson had back-to-back 17.5 sack seasons, this isn't good enough. And I agree, it's not good enough. I just don't know if it's a Marion Hobby thing because I don't know the ins and outs of was he allowed to bring in the guys that he wanted, or was this a front office thing where it's a limited kind of situation and this person wants this guy and that person wants that guy. So I'm going to assume for the sake of him being fired that he must have had some kind of say in all of this. And a lot of these moves that were brought in that didn't work out were on him. What about you? Do you think that Marion Hobby deserved to get fired?
Yeah, I just it's not enough. It's not enough production. That's the thing that kills me with this team, though. I'm gonna ask you a question real quick. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this roster outside of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase?
The roster itself, and we're talking offense, defense, special teams, everything.
We could go. Let's just start with the defense. What's your rating, like 1 out of 10 on the defense roster, including Trey Hendrickson?
6 out of 10.
I wouldn't even give it that. I feel like it was a 4, and I'm happy to get the 5. You got brand new rookie D tackles carrying and anchoring the whole entire like D line. You got one edge guy that's the best. He's one of the best in the business. He is, like, is an argument he is the best. On the other side of that, yeah, I just don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it goes hand in hand. The secondary wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Like, I like those guys. Cam Taylor-Britt just had a.
So why did the secondary coach get to stay? Because I heard a lot of people saying that.
I don't know. I don't know because I'm like, if I bring in a brand new, that's a great question, because does that mean that the new DC? Oh my God, that's where Robert comes in.
Robert Livingstone. For those that don't know, he is being talked about as a potential replacement for Lou.
Oh man. So you got everybody in the world, Rex Ryan on TV talking about this is the most coveted position in football. And then, yeah, it does make sense that why else would you keep the secondary coach if he's not somebody that Robert Livingstone or somebody like that wants to communicate with or be in contact with? Because a brand new outside the building DC wants no part of anybody on that staff unless there's a connection, right? So we're having all these talks. I've been like Dennis Allen, like people have been like Mike Vrabel, and I'm like, nah, it's not him. But you know what I mean? But damn, I do not want somebody that's been here before. And that's one of the things. We hadn't gotten to that part yet.
Yeah.
But that's one of my criteria that I wish that the Bengals would do. But I just think that Marion Hobby, going back to the original question, I'm sorry, I got a little off. I just don't think that none of these dudes are real legitimate players that anybody, even in, not let alone our conference, our division. Like, I don't know, is our division with Herbert, Highsmith, would they take anybody on our D-line outside of Trey Hendrickson? And you got Cam Hayward and stuff. Then you go to the Ravens and stuff. You got Owe, you got all, you know what I'm saying? You got Kyle Vanoy, you got all these different dudes that can rotate. Maybe they'll take a guy or two like a Miles Murphy. Miles Murphy will go crazy with the Ravens, honestly. That athleticism, that build, that height and everything, that's exactly what they're looking for. But the point is, from a talent perspective, I just don't feel like it's so hard to judge how I view these guys, because I just don't feel like they're players that I like them. I'm a Bengals fan. I just don't feel like any of these other people will be standing on the table for many of those guys. These are great rotational pieces. Osai, Chris Jenkins and stuff. Those are great rotational pieces. Are those starters for Super Bowl? We're in a different tax bracket now. Well, we're actually in Cancun, so we ain't in no bracket. But when we were in a tax bracket, we were actually, talking about Super Bowl contention.
Yeah.
Like, are your trenches Super Bowl contention level? I think not.
No, and I feel like that's the only reason I brought up Zimmer. Like, Zimmer's past his prime, right? So I'm not saying bring Zimmer in this season because we cooked Zimmer's defense in Dallas, but we need someone that I think can get the absolute best out of these players. And like, that's what I felt like when Mike Zimmer came from the Falcons and came to the Bengals and they had no names on defense. He was able to turn that average, like these average players, into a top 10 defense. Like, we need somebody that's going to be able to get the best out of them. Now, I'm not saying like they have to be a top 10 defense, but if you could take this same defense that we have with these names and they turn into like 17th, I think that would be like overachieving. And it's like, all right, we can build on that. The defensive coordinator that they get, I agree with you. I don't know if, like, I'm not hating on Livingstone, but I don't want a familiar name. I want somebody that's new, that has no kind of loyalty to anything in there, because at the end of the day, this defensive room kind of needs to be gutted out, like, and it just needs to be redone and renovated, and we need new windows, we need a new roof, we need new gutters on there. Like, we need to just strip this all the way down and bring in something new, bring in a possible new system. Like, the fact that the Bengals didn't even let Lou go to a 3-4, like, bro, let the new defensive coordinator do whatever, like, they need to do. Like, I don't know if, like, you haven't been drafting well enough to be like, we can't play a 3-4. Like, you haven't been hitting in the draft. You haven't been picking all pros lately and stuff like that. For me,
they got some good talent, though. They got some good picks, though.
They do have some good picks, but they're not.
Remember, we were looking at that 2023 and we were comparing. Wasn't that a tweet you had like the other day or something like that? I know I piggybacked off of it.
I agree. I think that the Bengals drafted well in that, but when I'm looking at that draft, I'm looking at more so the offensive guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, when it comes down to it, when you're looking at the Ravens draft guys like Kyle Hamilton, when you're looking at them draft guys like the defensive tackle that they got over there, I don't know why his name is escaping me right now. No, defensive tackle. Matabuke.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other one, Travis Jones. Remember that was a guy that the Bengals kind of wanted.
We don't have any of those fellas. Like, we don't have a young up and coming like guy like that. They haven't drafted that well enough to be like, we're only running our system and we're only drafting these guys. Like, no, bro. I need somebody. The first dude that they tried to get here, I think he was at Florida or something like that.
Yeah, but he used the Bengals as a pawn. You talking about that dude, and then he went back and got that extra $1 million.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you bring in somebody like him, let them do their own thing, bro. Don't put parameters on what this new defensive coordinator can do, because we've seen what this system is, bro. Like, and it's the bend but don't break. I don't know if I want that this time around. I don't know if I want the bend but don't break.
Hell no. We're not bending no more.
Yeah, I don't want that, bro. Like, they gonna have to show us like it's somebody good. Now, obviously, like, I can sit here and dream and talk about Brian Flores and something like that, but like, bro, if you are really trying to like change this defense, you got to bring in somebody that is like new blood. You got to let them do what they want to do. You got rid of the linebacker coach. I think that was needed because the linebacker room didn't perform well. But like, bro, it's got to be new blood. You don't feel like we have a platform where, despite what people think, we're saying we're speaking a lot for the thoughts and semblance of who they nation. Maybe not everybody, but like we're a part of this culture too. We talk to certain people. We have a pulse on what's going on. We kind of sat here like, bro, we're the same podcast that says you need to tank for Joe Burrow before it was cool. What do they need to do with this defensive coordinator situation? Because, not saying that we're going to just hit up one of our boys in the front office and say, make this happen. But if it's you right now and they're listening right now, what are you saying to these people about the defensive coordinator position?
It needs to be somebody outside of the building. One thing that I think has been a theme for Zach Taylor is he's got a lot of friends that he works with or people that he's cool with, or, you know, like, I don't need him drinking brewskis late night watching film with his buddies or whatever. I want somebody that's good enough. If they came into this situation, let's say, I'm just going to throw out a name. This is not who I want. Don't kill me. Mike Zimmer, right? Say he was the defensive coordinator. The one thing that I do know is that I know he could do that job, and I think he can get them boys right. Maybe that's not the personality trait of somebody I want, but let's just say whatever. But one of the main reasons that I like someone of that magnitude is because it sets the bar so high at the beginning of the season. As Zach started off, anything less than 3-2, bye. I got a head coach right here ready to go. We're going to move forward. See you later, Zach. This is it. This is the end of the road. If you hire a buddy, Robert, or like a Robert, I'm not mad at Robert Livingstone. He did real good work in Colorado. But if you're hiring somebody in the building, it sets Zach up to have mediocrity accepted, because the contingency plan in place would just be an extension of Zach Taylor. It would be somebody that feels the same vibe, and it's the reason why Zach Taylor even hired him in the first place. It would be somebody that's an extension of him. So what do you get by firing Zach? You be in the same position where you got to wait to the end of next year too. I want a guy that's coming in there, Dennis Allen level, Robert Salah level, raising the bar of the room, that's saying, if this dude does not get off to a good start, if our bye week is in week 7, 8, bye. See ya. We're done with all that. Like, we're starting it over, but we're doing it on the fly. We're going to catch momentum, and we're going to go, and we're going to move 1,000 miles per hour forward, and we're going to go to it. It's the equivalent of what you should have did with McKinley Jackson. Sheldon Rankins and DJ Reader. It's having a Sheldon Rankins in place, but having a DJ Reader right there in case this shit doesn't work out. I got somebody right here, and I'm not going to – what's the dude that we brought off the street? What was that dude that played like 3-4 weeks from New England?
Oh, Monty Bledsoe.
Nah, it was something Guy or something.
Lawrence Guy.
Was that this season?
That was this season.
All right, but I don't want a Lawrence Guy. Just the guy that Zach Taylor has hired to be like, yeah, like this is our DC. So then if Zach gets off on a bad foot, I got only Lawrence Guy. Like that's the guy that I got to roll with. Like, no, give me the best of the best. Somebody might be saying, oh, well, what if Zach is not going to do that? Because, he ain't going to want somebody that could potentially take his job. So what? It's not your choice anymore, Zach. You're lucky you're still here. We got rid of all your buddies, all your friends. We paying you $500,000 to do what we say, Zach. When they got questions for you about free agents and signings and stuff, you walk up to that podium and you say what I told you to say, Zach. And if you don't deliver these wins and get these boys together, bye, bro. We got backups right here. Because what they're going to do is look at Darren Simmons and Lawrence Guy or whatever, and we're going to have to forfeit another season talking about, oh, we wasted Joe Burrow, we wasted Jamar Chase. We're going to be saying the same thing. But can you imagine if that happened and then an influx of like this momentum of like, all right, Robert Salah is like, yeah, all right, let's get, like, you know what I'm saying? He's going to be talking to Joe. Yeah. Robert Salah going to be talking to Joe, bro.
Bro, thank you. Get me somebody that has a resume, dog. Don't get me somebody that's never been a defensive coordinator and we got to sit there and wait for them to grow and hope that they do this thing. Sometimes you hit on that, but a lot of the times, bro, you need a Dennis Allen. You need some of these guys that have a resume, a Robert Salah. Like, they already know what they're doing. They're proven. They may not have worked as head coaches, Mike Zimmer, Dennis Allen, like Robert Salah, but they know what they're doing on defense, though. Like, we do know that for sure. It's established. There's a track record there. There's a resume. So that's all I ask, man. Like,
he cooked. If you paid attention to that Jet situation, they were so much better before they fired him. They made a big mistake firing him. Also, his work with the 49ers and just the enthusiasm, the energy that is needed. I also want the free agent Hufanga. I want them to add him, and I think he would follow Robert Salah. I think Salah has something to do with Hufanga. I could be wrong, but the connections are there. But Robert Salah on a snap-to-snap basis is running up and down the field talking to them young boys. Like, that's what I want. And then after that drink, remember Aaron Rodgers like, ew, get the hell off me. Joe's going to be like, bring it on in here, Rob. Like, I got you, bro. Like, he'd be like, all right, now go handle the defense. The dichotomy of that is just, God damn it, I don't want to get too excited about it, people. Because if it don't happen, they're going to be like, Jim, you had me all hyped up on January 6th. You and Ace talking that Robert shit. Like, nah, bro. Like, that's what they need, bro. Like, I swear, like, to fix the Bengals, somebody wrote this. Somebody made a video. I was so mad. They were like, you need to sell the team. I said, hey, wait. Pump the brakes. I hear what you're saying. But, bro, it's so easy to fix the Bengals, bro. It's so easy. If they just took their first round pick and said, F it, F that pick one time and got us Max Crosby, go give me Sauce Gardner. All these dudes, Micah Parsons, all these dudes are saying they want to play with Joe. Max Crosby's like, oh, Jamar is so icy. Like, what? Come here, Max. Like, the Raiders need first round picks. Yeah. Bro, here, take that. Raiders, y'all do that. Shador, y'all do that. Bengals, we're going to do what we got the contingency plan for Trey Hendrickson, and we're going to be the most fierce defensive line in this 1 year. We're going to overspend. Once Trey Hendrickson moves on or whatever, we're going to figure that out. Just do it one time, bro. If they just did that one move, and signed their own guys, they will be on top of the world, bro. But they won't do it.
Facts. Do it, guys. Misfit 85 says he wants us Wink Martindale. What you think about Wink?
Don Martindale is the same as Wink Martindale?
Yeah.
The dude for the Wolverines right now, that's the defensive coordinator for them?
I thought that's not Wink. Wink isn't his nickname?
Is it?
I don't know. Don
Bro.
Martindale. Oh, no, maybe this is. Hold on. Nah, yeah, that's him. That's Wink. It's Don Wink Martindale. Yeah.
Hey, Misfit, how long you been here? We put Wink in a pot, bro. What are you talking about? Joe Burrow, Joe, do you know how long you been here? Joe told you about Wink when Wink said, "Yeah, we ain't about to make no gold jackets for him." We stitched up one for Wink ass and got his ass about the NFL. Wink Martindale, that's a purple person I took out, bro. See you, Wink. You're not coming in wearing those stripes. Get out of here. We packed them up. We sent Wink out there. They was crying. Oh, why the Bengals run up 500 yards with us? Like, we got Wink up out of there, man. What you talking about? Yeah, like, I don't know. Would you entertain that? Wink up.
I didn't know Wink was from Dayton, though. I didn't know he was from Ohio.
He did his thing for Michigan this past year, though. Like,
maybe. I mean, bro, at this point, man, I'm open to. I don't know if Wink is the guy to replace Lou. I ain't gonna.
Wink ain't my guy.
The way Rex Ryan was glazing over the position. Come on over to Cincy, bro. I know Rex Ryan knows some defense.
Hey, Rex, look, ESPN probably paying him like $250,000. Bengals could probably pay him the lowest rate, and Rex would be back, bro. Rex would be like, I'm back. Rex was on TV like, man, that's the most coveted. He said, anybody with a defensive background. I said, oh, yeah, anybody?
Is that boy about to put his resume in? He was looking geeked up, bro. I'm like, all right, Rex.
You know what this remind me of? You remember this show? If everybody go back and go look, me and Ace were like, go get us Harbaugh. We had a whole episode of give us Harbaugh. And everybody was like, ew, the dude that picks his nose and eats boogers or whatever. And I was like, I know he's a booger eater, but at the same time, bro, he's militant with his approach. And you see that with the Chargers right now. Like, and, you know, I don't think Wink Martindale represents that. I don't know if Rex Ryan represents that either. But I just need somebody that's got that the cojones to like do some stuff. And that's why Dennis Allen and Robert Salah. I think Robert Salah. You saw when Robert Salah got fired. You know the first thing he did. Let me show you how hungry this boy. That man's a pit bull.
Organization, didn't he?
He went straight over the next day. He ain't even go on vacation. He got with his boy over at Matt LaFleur with Green Bay. He was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go check out the practice." Bro had on a Green Bay sweater on the next day. He is hungry. He is a dog. That man is born to coach like that. He don't know. No, he didn't even go on vacation after he got canned. He got all that bread, and then he went back to practice the next. Like he's not playing around. That dude right there.
Talk to him, bro. They gotta talk to him, bro. They got like, bro. I can't see them not talking to any of these guys right now. Like, this isn't the situation. And here's the thing, bro. Zach knows he's on the hot seat, so I don't want him doing the thing where it's like, oh, I'm scared to hire a defensive coordinator that could replace me as head coach. Like, I don't want to.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think he has enough pull right now to even say that?
No,
I don't think he got.
You better go and win, bro. I'm gonna be real with you, Zach. If you listed it right now, bro, do what you need to win. Get a defensive coordinator that's gonna make you look like a genius. Because at this point, you are definitely going into the next season on the hot seat, regardless. Like, it don't matter. Like, you lucky they ain't get rid of you this year, to be honest with you. So I think that's where I'm at with it. Shifting gears, I know we've been on the defensive side of things. Frank Pollack finally fired. What are your thoughts on Frank Pollack getting fired? I think that's one of the most important positions outside of defense because that's connected directly to 9. Joe Burrow is the most hit quarterback in the NFL once again this season. What are your thoughts on Frank Pollack being let go?
He's also the run game coordinator, and the only way, and I've said this several times, I'm going to post it over and over and over and watch the big boys copy what I'm going to say, but cool, it's all good. As long as the Bengals do this. You give themselves a competent run game so defenses aren't pinning their ears back and rushing at this dude every single chance that they get. Even if Joe Burrow doesn't want to implement play action, I'm going to make him do some of that, right? But say he doesn't. The run game coordination is so important for the success. I promise you, if Joe Burrow dropped back 25 times a game like Lamar and Josh Allen or whatever, he would very rarely get hit. It's a numbers game. In the game that we had the other day, bro, I got to the stat sheet and it was third quarter. He had 200 yards, but it was 27 attempts. By the time we got to the end of the game, I said, bro, how did he just drop back 40-something times against TJ Watt? You're going to give TJ Watt, Highsmith, Highsmith I think was hurt, right? But Herbert and all these dudes like that, you're going to give them an opportunity 40-something times to come back there and just go get your quarterback. And as a result, Joe Burrow had 500 pounds laying on his helmet and buried in the grass with his neck almost broke because they refuse to add a competent run game. I don't care that Chase Brown didn't play. Everything has to be set up for your first down efficiency so that Joe Burrow is in a position where he can go get 3rd and 4s, 3rd and 3s, whatever. He shouldn't be 3rd and 12 every time because you're failing to be on point with your false starts. You're failing to get all these different things correct in the run game. So it's making it so that the Bengals have to throw on 4th and 1. Bengals have to throw on 3rd and 1. We've been doing that for 5 years. They have to throw on short yardage situations when most teams just move people out the way. If they don't get on 3rd down, they do that shit again on 4th. Like we're throwing on every 4th. That's nuts. And then you're on here like, yeah, bro, we gotta go for it because the kicker is so bad. Then when we going for it, I'm like, damn, another drop back. You see what I'm saying? So it all goes hand in hand. The only way to protect Joe Burrow, to me, and I've said this since he tore his ACL, is to limit the amount of dropbacks. And the only way you could do that is to have a good run game coordination. If you're running for 4 yards a clip, it don't look sexy, but damn it, I want to get with it. That's the type of levels of attraction. I'm attracted to a 4 yard run game. It ain't the sexiest, but it's my cup of tea. That's what I'm with. And Zach Taylor is not. And to say, yeah, I think it's dope. I could get on the line and be like, yeah, Joe Burrow led the league in completions, in yards and touchdowns and shit. You damn right he did. Look how many attempts he had. Like, it is a flex, but at the same time, I'm like, bro, you had him drop back 1,000,000 times. He had 1,000 more yards than Josh Allen. I don't know if you like that, but I feel like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, they barely get touched. And I'm into that. I think that the run game would help them out a lot. Frank Pollack hasn't had the development of any of these offensive linemen, none of these Deontay Smiths, none of these dudes like that I had a little bit of promise in. None of those dudes ever evolved into anything other than whatever they were when they got here. Amarius Mims is the biggest man on earth. He would have came in here and knocked people out no matter what. Like, that's like saying Joe Burrow's a top 5 offense. Amarius Mims is bigger than everybody and he's stronger than everybody. Yes, he's going to move people the hell out of the way. I don't know how much Frank Pollack played into that. We know friends of the show that go to the practices, seen the practices, don't agree with all of his drills, but everybody has their own different things that they like and different things that they do in the trenches. But none of it ever gave them results from any of their young talent. And we're talking about a young team that's going to have 2 bookend tackles. Mark me when I could book me now. I think the tackles are going to be really good next year, but they can't be special. They can't grade out and be Pro Bowlers unless you get the run game on point. And Joe Burrow cannot drop back 50 times. But damn, we paid him. I don't give a shit. I paid him so that he could be here and available to go cook people in the playoffs. And we sitting here in Cancun, and I got snow on my boots.
Hey, Willie, man. Come to the Natty, bro. I know you don't want to coach, bro, but we need you. We need you. Super chat here from Misfit 85. He says he's got a name for us. Stacy Searles, Georgia O-line coach. Dude has developed offensive lineman for sure. Before, I have not even said it, but this show is powered by BETUS. Make sure that you check in with them. Unfortunately, our Wednesday play of the week did not. One of them didn't happen last week with Joe Burrow going over 300. The other ones did happen, however. But we're powered by BETUS. Make sure that you use that promo code YouTube150. That's going to get you 150% price match on your first deposit. So make sure that you get that deposit match and take care of that. YouTube150. What were you going to say, John?
We missed one. Jamar Chase, 109. Do you know why that's so important?
Why is it so important? Let them know.
The pass to Jamar Chase dropped in the end zone would have covered for us. I looked at the math on it. I could be wrong. I think it was an 18-yard pass. That one extra pass would have gave us the over on what I stood on the table and said Jamar going after the 109. Had he caught that pass, he would have hit. So that's the other one that we didn't get.
Oh goodness! So we were. What were we? Were we 1 for 3? 1 for 2?
1 for 3, bro.
1 for 3. Yeah, 1 for 3. Yikes! Hey, You still get that 150% price match. You can still make bets tonight, tomorrow, or whenever you choose to. So make sure that you make those with BetUS. We appreciate them for sponsoring the show. So shout out to them.
You read that super chat?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we didn't talk about it though. So he said he talked about the Georgia O-line coach. I'm good with it. Obviously, he has a connection with Amarius Mims. Obviously, they put some guys into the league. I just hope whoever it is, like Joe Burrow, is not just getting beat to a pulp every single season. Like, that's my only issue there. And it has to be somebody that knows what they're doing in terms of Marion Zach's system with their pass blocking. Like, I'm going to be honest, man, not a fan of Alex Kappa, not a fan of Ted Karras in the interior right now. Cordell Volson, like, he's still on the table for Cordell Volson. I've said for years I don't really like Cordell Volson. Cordell Volson turns out to not really be a good player. The Lyle Collins joint, I don't understand it. I feel like he could have played guard. They let him go. It is what it is. I'm not saying that he would have been the answer, but they've got to bring in somebody here that knows offensive linemen, that knows how to develop offensive linemen, and can pick the right ones to come in here. I think Mims is a guy, like you said, bookend tackle. I think they brought in Orlando Brown Jr. Outside of that, bro, I could say that, like, the other three spots are for grabs. When Cody Ford is supposed to be better than Cordell Volson, like, things got to change.
How do you think he did, though? Like, overall, given when he played guard, when he played tackle, like, overall, TJ Watt knows that.
Great. I think he was straight. Yeah. I don't think he was like.
Would you bring him back?
As a backup, yeah, I could bring him back, but yeah, I could bring him back as a backup for sure.
Would you bring back Trent Brown? Somebody asked me that.
If he can stay healthy, bro, like, he didn't stay, and he's never been able to stay healthy.
And I'm gonna tell you this is something weird about me, about what I do. I watch how other people interact with, like, their teammates. Like, the teammates, like, if you're on Instagram, you see it, like, in the comment section, on the player stories and stuff like that. He never posts the Bengals. Never.
Crazy.
Never. Like, if one of his, like, somebody he knows on another team does something, he'll post that. I'm talking no Triple Crown, no Joe Burrow, none of that stuff like that. It makes me feel like how all the Patriots fans and all them were like, bro, he don't care about football and stuff like that. I just don't feel like he cared. But the crazy thing is, I think Trent Brown would have been an excellent, when Mims got hurt, I think Mims would have overtook the spot had he stayed healthy. But then when Orlando Brown Jr. got hurt, I think you probably win one more game with Trent Brown and Mims, right? And then Mims got hurt, so now you got Trent Brown. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But Trent, I like Trent a lot. Remember, that was one of the big things that I was pushing on the Zim Tobin and Ace Tobin shows, is about how that guy should be picked up by the Bengals, and they did it. And I thought that he was going to be well. And he had some good moments early on, bro. But he does not look like he gives a damn about the Bengals. I could be totally wrong, but he does not post him or nothing. Like, nothing else.
The only issue ever there was with Trent Brown was staying healthy, and unfortunately, he's hurt. What was that? The first game? Did he even make it to the first game?
I thought he made it to game 3.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was like game 3.
He played.
That's why they took Mims.
Then he. All right. So somebody get me together. He got on the week 2.
Somebody said he's got posts about us on Twitter. He's got.
I've never seen his Twitter. On Instagram.
But do you know what might have been the biggest fumble by the Bengals in terms of an offensive lineman that they could have signed, but they didn't, and probably could have played guard because he ended up playing guard for this other team.
Tell me.
Mekhi Becton. Becton balled out for the Eagles this year. Had a good season. Really, really emerged as the guard. And if you remember, Bengals had an offer out to him for the guard position, didn't kind of lock it in. And bro, he could have started here. He could have been a really good piece for them. We might not be looking instead of looking for 2 guards, we might be looking for 1, but it is what it is.
What I was gonna say is I want to challenge. I like to make it as interactive as possible. There's a lot of people that watch a lot of college football. There's a lot of people that are very invested in free agency. I love free agency. I'm all about a bargain, right? So this year, I want people to start trying to get. You could tell me in the comments after the show is over, like who are your picks for like defensive coordinator. I want to make it this year. I'm putting you on the spot, but I want to make it this year where it's not just me and you telling what we would do for the Bengals. I feel like Wincinnati, we always make sure that we incorporate the people and we care about what the people are saying. I want to hear what do people think from their Wincy, Tobin, whatever. I want to see what do people want to do this year in free agency. What are the picks? What are the pieces that they want to do? So start thinking about or start looking at or start telling us like college. Tell me college prospects that you think that I need to go and check out too. When the video is over, make sure you comment and send it to other people. And we're going to talk about some of those players coming up this year. And I think we're going to have an opportunity this time to show somebody from the show or a couple people from the show where we can actually show what was their plan in free agency, post on to my Twitter and stuff like that, and we'll figure out all of that stuff.
I wouldn't mind seeing Kerry Combs, a local Cincinnati guy that has a college resume, did some work in the NFL, get an opportunity. He was the DB coach for the Titans the year that we those years.
When you said back then, who was the defensive version of that was looking like Aaron Donald the other day?
Who?
Calais Campbell.
Yeah.
The money that they saved with the mixing money and the money that they ain't do nothing with the Jamar Chase. Go look at bro contract. Dude was insane. I thought that he was playing. I thought he would ball out. And if the Bengals made it to the playoffs, I wanted him to join our team. My one person, because somebody did ask me this, defensive coach. This is who I will want to throw this name into the hat. All right, I looked at this. Steve Klinkscale. This is a guy that is currently the DC for the Chargers, who was in the same situation as the Bengals were. He's 47, so he's not old or whatever. He's right at the sweet spot of coaching. He's taken a very bad defense from the Chargers, where Herbert's throwing for all these yards, and made them one of the best scoring defenses in the NFL. Remember, he was with the Wolverines, and he posted a 15-0 record in the college football playoff and the national championship. He also, at the University of Cincinnati, he was there from 2016 to 2020. So he has ties with Cincinnati. He was also a defensive backs coach with Kentucky. But for him, I think somebody like him, he's a defensive backs coach. I say defensive coordinator. I'm sorry. He's the defensive backs coach for the Chargers, but it's a name just spitballing. For the Rooney Rule, he is of African-American descent, so you would have to bring in one candidate like that anyway. But I think that's a guy that they should take a look at, and I think he's shown like he's got some winning pedigree, and he did wonders for the Chargers, and they were in the same position. Remember, the Chargers had to give up a bunch of people.
For sure.
This dude also coached Dax Hill and Jerry said that, and DJ Turner. He was there at Michigan around that same time. So like, the Chargers were supposed to be like in a bit of a rebuild. This is a guy, go look up Chargers defensive back, secondary coach or whatever. Go check him out, though. That's a name I want to throw into the hat.
Let's get it. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Before we go, though, got to hit up some of those Uno wings, some of those CTB wings over at Midwest.
Triple Crown wings.
Wings and them CTBs. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. It's the Ace to the Zim, M to the B's. Uno wings, G-Funk wings, and them CTBs. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. Midwest Best is the place place to be procuring wings. Say what up with Jordan Battle. We be going to battle. Intercepting balls like CTV did on Seattle. Putting 6 up on AZ. Juice gang amazing. Make sure you come get these wings, cause Zimby stay blazing. And T-Game be smooth as ice. Jamal making DBs fold. TV got big levels, and now you already know. Hits are pretty for Uno wings. Cam got the new wings. We call them CTBs. Only at MBs. Ace to the Zim. M into the B's.
Yes, sir. Them brisket fries. Talk to him, the Ohio 513-669 Justice Court in Loveland, Ohio. I need some of them. I need some of them brisket fries, my guy. I need some of them Uno wings for the Triple Crown. Celebrate Uno's Triple Crown with some Uno wings at Midwest Best Barbecue. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, man. Make sure that you like us. Make sure that you leave us a review. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate y'all. NFL season is still going, so we're going to keep it Bengals related, but we might incorporate some of the playoffs talk and stuff like that going forward. But obviously, we're locked in on the Bengals coaching search, for them to fill some of these positions that they have available. So we'll see how that goes. But before we get out of here, partner, was there anything that you want to say?
Nah, man. I mean, Cancun
on 3.
On 3. Speaking of 3, Triple Crown. We didn't acknowledge Jamar Chase. Shout out to you. Shout out to Jimmy Chase too. Appreciate you. Big friend of the show. Appreciate you more than ever. He made sure he let me know that him and his lovely wife still watch our show, and I'm very, very appreciative of that. Go check him out. He's on episode 3 of Hard Knocks, and he went. I ain't got to that episode yet. He was like, "You ain't get to episode 3 yet." So shout out to the Chase family. Shout out to the Triple Crown winner. A lot of people didn't think that he would do it, and he did it. He put it on his mirror, and he accomplished it. Being able to identify this is one of my goals. Seeing and putting it in perspective and putting it in your peripheral, putting it directly in sight, and then actually achieving it is something that should always be commended. Anything ever in life. So shout out to the Triple Crown winner, Jamar Chase, 24 years old, #1 wide receiver in all of football.
Shout out to Uno.